Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Nathan Boyd. We warmly welcome the family of Lieutenant Valentine Nagle, whose story will be told shortly by Flight Lieutenant Tricia Evans from the Royal Australian Air Force, who is Lieutenant Nagle's niece. We welcome the veterans who have served and those still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. The Australian War Memorial was a vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could come to mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance at the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who gave their lives for us in war and on operation for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Lieutenant Valentine Nagle. Valentine Nagle was born on the 15th of April in 1915 in Albury, New South Wales, the son of Valentine and Margaret, known as Eiley Nagle. Valentine Jr., known as Val, was the third child and second son of the 9 children in the family. He grew up in Albury alongside his siblings Mary, Jack, Fred, Margaret, Mac, Nano, Pat and Frank. He attended the Christian Brothers School and then studied law at Sydney University after he secured the Fred Blacklock Scholarship. He was head prefect at St John's College within Sydney University, and he won the Reverend W.J. Dunn Scholarship, the O'Connell and Lynch Scholarship, and the Wigram Allen Scholarship in the law school. He also rowed in the College 8 and played cricket and football for the college, and he was the editor of the college magazine. He graduated with first-class honours at the age of 21 before going on to work as a solicitor in his father's legal practice. In the lead-up to the Second World War, he travelled through Europe with the man who would become his brother-in-law, Philip Atkin. Anticipating the onset of war, he returned home to join the army, enlisting on the 5th of November in 1939. Nagle was posted to the newly raised 2nd Field Regiment, one of the first artillery regiments raised as part of the 2nd Australian Imperial Force. It was assigned to the 6th Division. Nagle's training was undertaken in Seymour and Puckapunyal, where he was appointed temporary Lance Sergeant in late November and then promoted to Sergeant in early March 1940. In April, he joined a Field Artillery Training Battalion and attended the School of Artillery at Holsworthy. In July, he was appointed a commission, gaining the rank of lieutenant before being transferred to the newly raised 2nd 9th Field Regiment. After a period of pre-embarkation leave in December of 1940, Lieutenant Nagle and his regiment embarked for the Middle East in April of 1941. After concentrating in Palestine in May, the regiment was redeployed to Egypt, where it supported British troops to defend against a possible German airborne invasion in the wake of the Battle of Crete. The following month, the regiment was deployed to the Syria-Lebanon campaign. The campaign concluded with an armistice in July, and at about this time, Nagle was detached to the 2nd 4th Field Regiment. He attended the Middle East School of Artillery in October. The following month, he was struck with malaria and spent time recovering before rejoining the 2nd 9th Field Regiment. The regiment moved to Palestine before returning to Australia in March 1942. As the men landed in Adelaide before slowly moving east, Nagle was again afflicted with malaria. When his regiment was reassigned to the 3rd Division for defensive duties in southeast Queensland, he joined a commando training battalion. After a series of transfers between various units, he joined the 2nd Commando Squadron, which had initially formed as the 2nd Independent Company. It was then renamed the 2nd Independent Company before briefly becoming part of the 2nd 6th Cavalry Commando Regiment. In June of 1943, the 2nd sailed from Townsville to Port Moresby, where it was flown to Benabena in the Bismarck Ranges in New Guinea. Here, Nagle and his comrades supported the 2nd 7th Independent Company in patrolling around the Ramu River area. In mid-July, the 2nd moved into position in Benabena, and by the end of the month, their patrols were engaged in skirmishes with the Japanese. In October, the unit was renamed the 2nd Cavalry Commando Squadron and moved to Faita to patrol the western flank in the advance towards Madang. The 2nd would remain in New Guinea for another year, but Lieutenant Nagle would not be returning to Australia with his men. On the 4th of October 1943, he was commanding a patrol that attacked an enemy position in a village alongside the main track from Kasawai to Yonapa. After inflicting 8 casualties on the enemy force, the patrol was forced to withdraw. Nagle was reported missing, believed killed in action. A later patrol found his body in a shallow grave 9 days later. Valentine Nagle was 28 years old. Today, his remains lie buried in Lay War Cemetery in Papua New Guinea under the simple inscription, R.I.P. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed here today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lieutenant Valentine Nagle, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them. Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support for the Memorial's development project. We particularly appreciate your visit despite the challenges posed by COVID and wish you all a very pleasant evening.